for B9RS5, would a meth kit be a good option for cooling benefits? I mean, we don't really have plans to do any meth tuning for that. And no, it's not gonna. Meth is good for increasing octane. I mean, that's the one thing for sure. If you run water meth, it will give you the benefit of a higher octane. So,
But yeah, the problem is it's not. There are no. I've never seen a meth kit implemented that has been a uniform application of methanol throughout the entire operating range of the motor. So you've got these like big humps or dips as to what gets injected. It's kind of a very crude, if not fixed. It's a very simplified injection model that's not like tied to RPM or tied to everything that it's going to need to be tied to exactly add the same amount of fuel across the entire power band and part load, or 3/4 throttle, whatever it is. That those systems just don't exist because the amount of integration you need is far beyond what an off-the-shelf kit would typically be targeted at. So beside all that, there's also just the reliability and the it's another fuel media you've got to make sure you're on top of. So you got to have either some sort of level monitoring, flow monitoring, some fault detection around that whole system to make sure it's something you can trust and rely on.
So. We talk a lot about water meth on here. For us, water meth doesn't really exist. It's not like we don't. It's not a tool that we would ever look to solve any kind of tuning or calibration problem. Honestly, I get why water meth. I'm just gonna say this. I get why they're popular. Because Joe Schmuckatelli can go become a snow performance dealer. Maybe he can put together an install kit that fits GTIs or B9s or whatever. And a week later, Joe Schmuckatelli can be selling water meth kits to everyone, making these claims that it cools your engine, adds octane, it cools your intake charge, it replaces an intercooler. It doesn't. It doesn't do it really. In practice, it doesn't do those things. But anyone can slap a water meth kit in any car, even the brand new 2023 model. You can throw a water meth kit on it. You don't need to program it differently. You don't have to do anything, and it probably won't do anything. It might actually decrease your power, but the car will run okay.
That's a point a lot of people don't make. Almost every meth kit I've had on a dyno here and done A to B testing on the same day, same minutes apart. It's been zero change or a drop in power because basically it's either an overrichen mixture or it's lying to the knock sensor or the intake temperature sensor enough that it's now getting into a bunch of knock because it's gone too far and you don't have enough.
I remember, and I've played with water meth kits a lot subsequently, but the first time I ever tuned a car with a water meth kit on the dyno, we had a whole bunch of different nozzle sizes, and I didn't know what nozzle sizes were, but we started with the biggest one, and I don't even think the engine would finish the pull. Okay, it was literally like misfire. So we kept going smaller and smaller, and finally we get to a nozzle that makes the most power, and I'm like, okay, this is the right nozzle. This is the peak power. So then, just for shits and giggles, we turned it off. Engine made even more power than the smallest nozzle, and we basically determined that the engine made the most power with a nozzle of 0.0 millimeters. The smallest nozzle was the best. So I don't know what your all experiences are. I think there's a lot of snake oil around water meth. Water meth does have real applications. It was definitely used in World War I to cool, supercharged fighter planes. And there is a history of using water meth in racing. Water does absorb a lot, does convert heat. It does use energy to convert itself from liquid to steam. So there's some science behind it, but in practice, I think the claims are.
And there are production cars that have run it. There was an M2 Comp or something.
There is, yeah, something pretty new.
One of the BMWs.
Yes, and Porsches now have them.
Right. So, but that's where I'm getting at is that's a completely integrated solution that is controlled by the ECU and is mapped and modeled and part of the calibration process. So if you ground up, start something, and have it fully engineered and built in, yes, there's certainly a point where WaterMath can help you, either thermally or whatever it is they're which problem they're trying to solve.
Yeah.
But the add-on kits, that's difficult, especially in our world where we have full control over the calibration side. We don't necessarily need or benefit much from that.
Yeah. So, anyways, I anyone who's watching this, I would say don't mess with it. It's really not getting you anything. So, plenty of people do.